Okay, so if you're an Amazon seller, I know that just hearing the words FBA packaging can make your heart beat a little faster. But you know what? It really doesn't have to be that scary. We're going to break down exactly how to prep your products for Amazon's warehouses step by step, so you can get it right every single time. Let's get into it.
I mean, think about it for a second. Your product, the thing you've worked so hard on, leaves your hands and goes on this incredible journey, sometimes clear across the country to land on a customer's doorstep. That's a long, tough trip. And the right packaging, that's its passport. Seriously. Without it, your product isn't even getting past the first checkpoint.
And in the world of Amazon, one tiny little packaging mistake can just snowball into a huge problem. If you get it wrong, you're looking at 3 really costly scenarios. First, you could get hit with unexpected prep fee invoices from Amazon. Second, your entire shipment could get rejected right at the warehouse door. And the absolute worst case scenario, they literally destroy your products and then send you the bill for it. Yikes.
So, how do you avoid those nightmares? Well, that's exactly why these rules exist. It's all about making sure your products can move smoothly through a crazy fast, highly automated system. So let's start with the absolute most important fundamental of getting it right.
Okay, listen up. It doesn't matter if you sell t-shirts or coffee mugs or car parts. This rule applies to every single product. You gotta think of it as your product's official ID card for getting into the Amazon Warehouse Club. If it doesn't have the right ID, it's basically invisible to their entire system. And the most important part of that ID is, you guessed it, the barcode.
So there are 3 golden rules here. First, every single product variation, like a red shirt versus a blue shirt, needs its own unique FNSKU barcode. Second, there can be only one scannable barcode visible on the outside of that package. And third, and this is the one that trips so many people up, you have to completely cover up any other barcodes on the box. This is so crucial because if there's more than one, it totally confuses the warehouse scanners and brings that whole automated assembly line to a grinding halt.
All right, so your product has its ID card. Now it needs a suit of armor. The journey through Amazon's fulfillment network can be rough, so your product needs the right gear. I mean, a delicate porcelain vase and a fluffy teddy bear don't need the same armor, right? So let's look at the most common types of packaging you're going to use.
First up is the trusty poly bag. It's your first line of defense against dust and dirt. Now the bag has to be strong, transparent, and sealed up tight. And of course, that barcode has to be scannable right through the plastic. But the most important rule is about safety. If the bag's opening is wider than 12.7 centimeters, you must add a suffocation warning. This is a big one. It's totally non-negotiable.
And if you want to see just how obsessed with detail Amazon is, check this out. Even the font size of that warning label is strictly regulated. As you can see, the bigger the bag gets, the bigger the font has to be, all the way up to a massive 24-point font. That is, well, an incredible level of detail.
Okay, next up, boxes. Even if your product already comes in its own box, that box has to meet Amazon standards. You know those flimsy retail boxes with the little perforated pop-out sections? Yeah, those almost always fail what's called the drop test. If your box can't survive a 1-meter drop, so about waist high, without bursting open or falling apart, it's a fail. And you'll have to basically start over by putting that entire box inside a compliant poly bag.
Now for the really fragile stuff, think glass, ceramics, bubble wrap is your best friend. But the drop test for these items is even tougher. They have to survive a drop from 5 different angles: on its base, on its top, on its longest side, its shortest side, and a corner. See? Amazon takes absolutely no chances with fragile products.
All right, we've covered the general rules. Now let's wade into the minefield, the special rules for specific products. Honestly, these are the little details that separate the pros from the amateurs, and knowing them can save you from some major headaches down the road.
So, if you're selling items together as a set, like maybe a shampoo and conditioner combo, you have to secure them together and then slap a label on them that clearly says, "This is a set, do not separate." If you forget that label, a warehouse worker might split them up, thinking they're individual items, and suddenly your inventory is total chaos.
For any products with an expiration date, like food or cosmetics, Amazon's tolerance for error is absolutely 0. The date format must be either month, day, year, or month, year. That's it, no exceptions. If your manufacturer uses a different format, it's on you to cover it up with a new label that's in the correct format.
Okay, get ready for this one. This is my favorite. If you're sending your products in a big master carton, what font size do you think the expiration date on the outside of that big box needs to be? The answer is a whopping 36-point font.
And the reason for this is actually pretty brilliant in a very Amazon kind of way. The date needs to be, and I'm quoting the source material here, literally like a giant newspaper headline. Why? So a forklift driver can see it from meters away without even getting out of their seat. It's all about efficiency.
So what about the really big stuff, like a mattress? Well, the rules here are a little simpler, but they're just as important. The product has to be in a strong, durable cardboard box, and you have to make sure you list it in the correct category over in Seller Central. This is what tells Amazon's system exactly how to handle and where to store such a huge item, and that prevents damage and delays.
Fantastic! So we've put on all the right armor and we've learned the secret rules for those special missions. Now it's time to bring it all together. Think of this as your pre-flight checklist, the final critical questions you need to ask yourself right before you seal that box.
Okay, let's run through it. 1. Is there only one scannable barcode visible? 2. Are all the other useless barcodes completely covered up? 3. Have you followed the specific rules for your packaging type, whether it's a poly bag or a box? And 4. Does your product have any of those special requirements, like being a set or having an expiration date that you've addressed? If you can say yes to all 4 of those, you are good to go. You're ready to ship.
So remember what we said at the very beginning? These rules aren't just there to annoy you. Proper packaging is the passport that guarantees your product gets smooth entry into that massive Amazon fulfillment network. Without that passport, your product is getting turned away at the border. Simple as that.
So the real question isn't just about getting your packaging right. It's about what happens next. Now that you have the keys to unlock Amazon's incredibly powerful fulfillment network, how are you going to use it to grow your business? Because getting the box right, that's just the first step. Building your empire is what comes next.